Evening all. I thought today, or rather this evening, this being Friday the 28th of July, I'd show you my new little project, which is a Puma 22. It's quite an early razor. It was in a terrible state. It did come, where is it? Oh, it did come in its original card case with all the instructions still on the back. And you can't probably see this very well, but it is, or it has, Puma. It says Sheffield steel. That's when we were proud of Sheffield steel. Anyway, this I've done a full day's work, actually a day and a half's work on. It was in a terrible state. I was going to point out a couple of little tips that might be useful to anybody, and that is, here's the diamond plate. If your edge has been totally corrupted, either with nicks and scratches and bumps and grinds, this one was due to very poor honing, and it was all over the place. But the worst part was there was a warp in the spine, and it wasn't too severe, but it was horrible. And so what with the spine being worn by hone wear, the people going crazy with it, I thought the only way to save it, as the corrosion wasn't huge, was to do a full grinding job. Anyway, here it is now, and as you can see, I've because I've only just saved the spine's now got a nice sharp line to it. So rather than wreck that, I've decided to tape it. I wouldn't normally tape on a worn razor, but this one's a bit special. As I say, it's very early. It's got a very strange construction. As you can see, it is not what I would term traditional. It's got no lead wedge or anything like that. It's got a little round, what looks like ivorine or ivory disc in there. Ivory disc there where the blade rests. So I thought it deserved resurrecting. Anyway, first things first, what we need is a diamond plate to actually square it up and get the edge nice and square. We then need, once all the buffing has been done and all the linishing, please don't ask how much linishing here. 5 different buffing mops with compounds on. Anyway, there's the Sharpie, your felt tip marker. I always felt tip mark the edge, especially on one which I'm not absolutely certain of. I've got the stone here. Is the fabulous Nanoir 3K 3000 grit. I shall start by just going over to see where the edge is. Let's have a little look. If the edge is as I hope it is, yes it is. Yeah, you can now see a nice silver line, and that tells you that you've got a totally square edge. If you haven't got that nice silver line, then you're probably in trouble. Anyway, that's the reason why the hone wear had to be got rid of on this razor. So I'm going to continue. You'll notice there's a slight, well, actually it's a medium slurry on this stone. I think a slurry does slightly help with cutting, because as this one is fearsomely blunt, so I've been working on it remorselessly, and I had to kill the edge terribly on the diamond plate to get any form of flat, even surface. So what we're going to do is go backwards and forwards, just checking again. Yep, everything's nice and square. Yes. Yep, nice silver line. That's what you want to see. It won't be, I don't think it's going to be hair cutting sharp, or even my little favourite, my little baby tomato. No, nowhere near yet. So until it cuts the tomato skin evenly all the way along the edge, you know you haven't got an edge. I'm just trying to do a few rotary strokes now. Of course, when you're doing a circle, you're covering far greater area than just going up and down. Obviously I'm talking here to those who know more than me, I'm sure, but for the beginners to the wonderful business of razor honing, these rotary strokes, obviously you must go edge leading. If you don't, you'll get a wire edge at some point, which can be got rid of. I don't want to, so I'm lazy. Let's just do standard rotary until we've got an edge. Once that happens, we can work on our other stones. You can see I've got a nice heavy grey slurry now, which shows there's plenty of steel in the mixture. I prefer the 3K over a 1K for the simple reason I tend to use a diamond plate to square off a really bad edge, and then you don't really need a 1K. But this was a real rescue job. But I rather love the idea of rescuing what would have been, you know, almost a thrown away razor. Luckily for me, it didn't have too much in the way of corrosion. So 90%, that's 99% of the corrosion on the blade I've removed with judicious linishing. I haven't got the full equipment which the masters in the trade have. I'm certainly not claiming to be a Kim Matthias, who is a god amongst the honing and razor making community. And of course, there's so many others which I could mention, or perhaps I should mention. Trevor Wolfson in Johannesburg. Now he is my specialist go-to ultra custom knife maker. And of course Boris de Rivivier in France, who makes the most gorgeous looking knives, razors rather. I would say there's so many others, so many. But this should do. Let's have a look now. I mean, that's a pretty heavy old slurry. It's a pretty dark colour. Let's see what happens now. Oh yes, it's oh, sorry, you can't see that, can you? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's nearly there. Always go along. I always go along. You find the heel is often blunt, the toe is often blunt. Oh my goodness me! But the centre of the blade, excuse the silly remark, is razor sharp. Anyway, I'm going to just perfect this edge. Just get it so that it's even on the tomato test all the way along its length. It always pays to be thorough with these things. If you miss out a stage, it'll come back and bite you later. But I think for now, I'm also being naughty. You'll notice that what I'm doing is you should be rolling the back of the spine on the stone. But I'm so used to doing it, it doesn't really matter too much. But certainly for those just contemplating doing their own honing, it's the same as when you're stropping. You should roll the spine like this, and that way there's no risk of you touching the blade. On a rough stone, well, this isn't rough, on a 3000 grit stone, were you to make a mistake and actually run your edge along the stone, you got to start all over again. So let's see where we are now on this fine piece of steel. Let's have a look. I'm hoping now, yes, the heel's there. Oh, the middle's there. No, I want a tiny bit more on the toe. Just a little bit. A few more strokes and we'll be there. This way you can guarantee safely going to the next stone. Now, for those more hirsute than myself, who have obviously gorilla blood in their family, they tend to be able to do tree topping on their arm hair. I don't have very much arm hair, never have had. Not enough gorillas in my family, but I'll make an attempt. The best way, as I say, is I've always found for equal resistance, other than the hanging hair test, we're too early in the game for a hanging hair test, is to use the tomato. Anyway, I think, unless I'm very much mistaken, that should do it. Let's see, there's the tomato. Now, not yet, the centre is wonderful. No, I'm not happy. I want a little bit more. I'm going to do some more rotary strokes, and that will do it. The reason I'm using two hands, some people just use one hand for honing. I want as even a pressure as possible. If you can control the pressure, well, I think it's better, but let's say each to their own. There's 1,000 ways to hone, and I ain't claiming to be a master. You want to be a master? I've got a sticker on my wall which is to remind me, for all purposes, whether it's competitive shooting or whether it's street skating. In my case, skating was quite a good experience. It says 10,000 hours before you become expert, and that's a lot of hours. Anyway, let's try again. Oh yeah, yeah. Can you see this, chaps, and any ladies watching? That's no pressure at all, absolutely no pressure. It's slicing through the skin of the baby tomato. Let's see if it does the same with tree topping in my hair. But it would if I dropped it. Oh yeah, it has. Yeah, there's a couple. Let's try that again. Only just. I would say really it needs a good heavy strop, but I don't want to waste your time. So what I'm going to do is going to call the 3K, the 3000 grit nano done. I did carefully flatten the stone beforehand. You've got to do that. Let's put that one down. Let's put the 5K up. Again, this is not a nano, but it's a beautiful 5K. Let's see what it is. I've forgotten already. That's me being soppy. Oh yes, it's a Shapton. It's a 5K Shapton. Right, let's go on with the Shapton. And then, once we've passed the 5K, you can go straight on to 8K. A lot of people wisely say, until you get your 8K right, you can't really progress onto anything else. 8K seems to be pretty much everybody's benchmark. A lot of people will shave happily off of 8K. As this is a hobby of mine, I'd rather like to go as refined as possible. My best shaves and my best edges are through a progression like this, and I end up doing 12K or 20K. 20K Suhiru will give you the ultimate mirror. The danger is, of course, you go to such a perfect high gloss edge. Some people find it perhaps a little too sharp. I don't. But there again, I've got used to shaving with a straight razor. Now that is making a lovely even noise. It's bringing up the swarf just right. I don't think we're going to need to spend any time on this. In fact, I'm going to wash off the slurry, which of course I did do earlier. After flattening the stone, you get nice slurry. So there you are, that's a beautiful clean stone now. Let's just do a few strokes just to reinforce the fact. I will use a little loop today. I don't want to take a terrible amount of your time with this nonsense. I'd rather concentrate on getting the stoning technique right. But here is the standard jeweler's loop. Stick that in your eye. Thus. And yeah, that'll give you a quick check. This is a little bit silly because I know that the edge is good. I know that there's no nicks. It's just a way of confirming that you've not got anything horrible going on. No, that's perfectly sound. Yeah, I think we're ready for the next stage. I have got everybody's favourite little pocket microscope. They are a fiddle. I mean, yeah, they work very well. It's very powerful magnification, but they are a fiddle. A decent binocular microscope is by far the better answer there. Anyway, let's just make sure that our friend here, ooh, yeah. Yeah, it's very, very good. Couple more strokes just to be silly. The black pen, of course, is now no longer necessary. That can be wiped off with a touch of white spirit and a cloth. I don't think there's a lot of point doing a lot more on this 5K. I'd say that was very, very nice now. So let's pretend that I know what I'm doing and go from the 5K onto the 8K. First I'll actually, I think I'll use a little drop of white spirit and I'll rid myself, and I'll show you how. So there's the black line. A little white spirit. It dissolves black pen very easily. Do be careful, of course. There's not a lot of point ending up in accident and emergency with a slit finger. Always pays to go away from the edge like that. If you try and be clever and do too much up and down, you might make an accident and end up with stitches. However, if you're reasonably handy with tools, that's not going to happen. Right, where's my very, very nice super white? This is a lovely stone. This is the, where are we now? This is the Nanoir. This is the Nanoir super white. And that'll last my lifetime. Probably anybody else's as well. Make sure it's firm. Yeah, that's firm. Just a pointless example of how to do it. Pencil lines on your stone. Make sure you don't contaminate your stone with the last stone. So wash off your diamond plate, for goodness sake. That's now clean. This is only used a couple of days back, so this is not going to take 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's completely fine. Look at that. A couple of pencil marks left at the back, but they don't count. There we are. I'm not going to make this too long a video because I don't want to bore you to tears. Martin's Martin's shave test is meant to be vaguely amusing, not meant to be very boring. Anyway, I'm just going to go and do a little bit more like this on the 8K. And oh look, we're getting some nice coloured swarfy stuff coming off. That's nice, isn't it? I'm not sure how hard this steel is. I do know that the reputation that Puma had, or has, with very high grade steel. And of course, this one is Sheffield steel. What degree of temper and hardness they put on it, I don't know. I haven't researched it. I don't intend to. I'm not that boring. Anyway, let's look at that. That's quite a lot of colour. I think that should have reduced the 5K quite nicely. So I'm going to wash off the slurry off the blade as well. Yep, we're getting a nice shiny edge. Just water now. Ah, lovely. You note as I get more and more fine on the stones, I don't alter the pressure very much. Might be slightly lighter pressure. What I do though is I make sure that I am actually now rolling onto the spine, because at this stage in the honing you don't want to make a mistake and do anything silly. Now I'd normally kill the edge at this point and bring it back, but you know what, I've been working all day on this. I don't really want to. Let's see, make sure our little friend yeah, oh yeah, because it takes about 50 strokes once you've killed an edge to bring it back. And as this is a very nice, very fresh edge, I don't think we need to. So the bevel was set on the 3K. So the bevel setting's done. All we're doing now is just progressing. Yeah, that didn't half look nice. Let's just check with this loop. Yeah, very, very even. Slightly, as I thought it would be, they've got a slightly wider bevel at the rear than at the nose, because there was a very slight taper. You often find I just couldn't take any more steel off. It seemed cruel. So there's a very slight, very, very, very slight taper from the heel to the toe, but it's nothing. Of course, the thickness of the tape can determine the width of your beveled edge, and I think, I think that's going to do. We're still removing small amounts of steel, just a few more, and I think we'll call that a day. So we're at 8K now. Should we go straight to 10 or should we go straight to 12? I really don't know. I think it'd be perfectly safe to go to 12. Yeah. Don't want to spend all day at this, or all evening in this case. So that's the 8. And here we have, this is the 12K, and this one, I'm not too happy with this stone. I prefer this is the Nanoir 12,000 that everybody tends to love. I don't mind it. I prefer, if you're going for a fine stone, I actually prefer the 20K. But to go from 8K to 20 is, whoa, yeah, it's quite a leap. Let's just make sure this one is vaguely flat. I only used it the other day, it should be fine. Let's just quickly check. Washing off any residual stone from the 8K. I'm sure I'm going to get shouted at by people for going from 8K to 12K, but if you work up a slurry, I think that should cover it. Let's just make sure we got a bit of slurry. Very much more sticky stone. The finer the stone, the more sticky and hard it is. The 20k takes you ages to flatten off. That's the 20k Suhiru. But that's done. A few strokes on that. We're going to call it a day. Yeah. The general rule, the general consensus seems to be once you get to your fine stones, you do less and less strokes. A lot of people will do only 12 strokes, 12 laps rather, on the 12,000 grit. I've gone straight from 8k, so I'm going to do a few more, but not many more. That's probably about 10. So there's 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going by what others tell me, the others who are far more knowledgeable and experienced than me. So I'm going to say that's it. So there we have it. We've thanks for bearing with me. I'm going to strop the living daylights out of this now. I'll have to take the tape off. I have to behave myself. Use fine Kaneyama canvas. Probably about 40 laps. And I think we might have a winner here. Take off the tape. And the tape's stuck well and truly. Yep. And let's examine the blade before I depart. God blimey. Isn't it a strange thing? When you don't want tape to stick, it sticks like crazy. There we go. That's the tape off. So, as you can see, there's no wear now at all on the new spine, which I spent almost an entire day working on, grinding. And there you have it. That fella is ready to be stropped and ready to be shaved. I haven't got the strops with me here. If I did, you wouldn't see them. What I'll do is I'll do a quick video, shave video tomorrow. I might even show some stropping and a few tests. Anyway, chaps, I hope you found this mildly amusing. Sorry to be so long, but that is basically how you take a restored razor, which has got no edge whatsoever, and you turn it into a shaveable tool. See ya! Bye for now.